Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. So hope you are fine. We have to continue with the last stuff which we discussed at the end of the last lecture. So yesterday we were talking about use of equilibrium for immiscible systems, and there were few points related to triangular diagrams, and then at the end of the lecture I introduced you with the method which is used for designing the system, actually for calculating the number of stages. So that was named as Hunter-Nash method. So we have to proceed with the same method today. So overall in this lecture I will discuss in detail this method. Actually this method involve various steps, so few of those we will cover today, and actually using this method today we will find, extract and raffinate compositions, and then we'll proceed towards calculating the number of stages. Maybe in this lecture we can't cover or to reach to this step, final step of number of stages, but there are few steps before this, so we will try to cover those steps. This is from last lecture. At the end we discussed that for preliminary studies mostly we use type 1 ternary systems, and we have to calculate or we have to use these equilibrium diagrams, and we calculate the number of stages required for some specific extraction. So type 1 here mentioned, I yesterday discussed this. There are two types of systems, type 1 and type 2. Actually how you remember that type 1 system are those system in which solvents are partially miscible, while type 2 are those system in which solvents are completely immiscible. So here we are going to talk mainly about type 1 systems, but this same methodology can be adopted for type 2 system design. So we will quickly look at the system and its specification. So here we consider that it will be a counter current continuous flow system. Counter current because you already know that counter current is most effective way of mass transfer. Then there is continuous flow. In this system we will consider continuous flow, and there are n equilibrium stages where extraction take place in a cascade manner, which is actually the continuous, and this system is considered to work at isothermal condition, like temperature remains same. So this is your system which you are going to continue with this. Actually the purpose to bring again the slides which I have discussed in last lecture is to just revise the few things which we have discussed at that time, because today we are going to talk about these stages and these terminologies here, various streams we are going to talk. So due to this I have just brought it back again. You have seen this yesterday, that this system contain actually n number of stages, n capital number of stages, and we discussed that these stages, each stage actually include mixing as well as then phase separation. Mixing of like you can say solvent and feed takes place, and then they just separate out into extract and raffinate and get separated. So here each stage is indicative of this mixing and phase separation. Then there are stage number. Actually you see here they are numbered from 1 to n capital. So actually 1 is the point where feed is entering, and then we keep on moving towards the other end, because this is counter current system, so in which solvent will be entering from the other end. So here just for example you consider that this n capital is equal to 4. So you will see there are 1, 2, 3 and 4 stages in the system. So n can be any number which actually we are looking for. We are looking for these number of stages involved in some specific extraction. Then here usually in this system we will be talking about the mass. Already you know that you are talking about liquid extraction in which liquids are involved, so common we use mass fraction and mass instead of moles. You can see here as solvent entered from opposite end to the feed, like feed enters from this end and solvent is entering from the opposite end, and you know that the solvent rich stream is leaving from stage 1 because it entered from stage n and it will leave from stage 1. So, here final extract feed rate is E1 because this is leaving from stage 1. So, due to this we are calling it or giving it this means subscript 1, and E is extract. So, extract is the phase which is rich in the solvent. As well, you can see feed is entered from the stage 1 and it keep on moving through the system all these stages, and at that raffinate is leaving, and raffinate is the stream which is rich in carrier, or you can say the solvent of the feed, because feed consists of solute and the solvent, and solvent is usually named as carrier. So, raffinate is rich in mean feed solvent or carrier, and it is leaving from this nth stage. Then this is named as actually final raffinate feed rate, because you can see inside there are, why we are calling them final extract and final raffinate, because you can see inside there are few others. So, here we have to talk about the final one because we are concerned about the final main extraction as well as extract and raffinate obtained from any system. Here in each stage actually when the feed, I will say, and the solvent come in contact with each other. So, they are in equilibrium, they reach to the equilibrium, and at each stage actually equilibrium is established, and then you get this extract and raffinate, mean they will get mixed, and then you give them like time for settling, as here it is said like they get separated. So, overall extract and raffinate will be in equilibrium with each other leaving from each stage. Then here overall mass transfer of all species occurs in each stage. We talked about this, that all species mean the species involved in the feed. Suppose there is solute and the solvent in the feed, and the solvent introduced externally. So, these are the three components we are talking about. Ternary system, it's mean the mass transfer of 3 species, 2 species of the feed and 1 species of the solvent will take place at each stage. Then we discussed this also briefly, that for a ternary system to find the number of stage, actually the 6 is degree of freedom. So, 6 variables will be needed, and the various variables are discussed in your book, you can check there, but the system which is most commonly used or which you will come across or somehow we know most of the time that contain these 6 parameters provided here. So, out of those these are the 2, feed flow rate and its composition, these are 2 parameters. Then there is solvent flow rate and its composition like 4, then operating temperature, this is the 5th one, and then there are like 6th one we are looking for. So, 6th one either can be the composition of raffinate leaving from the end stage, or composition of the extract leaving from first stage, like E1 which is leaving from first stage. So, either its composition mean or composition of this mean one of these will be enough, but if suppose both of these are given, then maybe some other component will be missing from here, maybe solvent flow rate or feed flow rate or any other can be missing in that case, because overall like 6 parameter are necessary. We will discuss further, and you will see that we will be looking definitely for 6 variable to solve the system. And here when you have these 6 parameters, you can use actually triangular diagrams and can calculate number of stages, as well as you can find sometime the raffinate or extract mean composition which either of which is missing, like sometime if this is given raffinate one, then you will be looking for the extract one by using the same method, or if extract one is given, you will be looking for raffinate one. So, these are the variable which will be involved. By the way, one thing here I have represented it again with the x for both components in last lecture, in last slides they were given in like x and y. So, don't worry, you can give any symbol to this I mean actually I was using the same symbol which book was using, so you didn't get confused when you are going through either slide or the book. But here you can use same symbol like x, because commonly you know that mass fractions are represented with x and mole or with y, but in the book he has mentioned even solvent, which is the liquid, even its fraction he has mentioned with the help of y. So either of these you can use in any book. Various conventions are used, but you have to check always from any book you are reading, so what x or y is representing. So it's not like universal, although it's common practice to use x for the mass fraction and y for the mole fraction, but not like something universal rule. So you can switch between these, so don't get confused between this, that there was y and today now x is appearing here for stream S or stream E1. So it's same thing. So now when you have to determine these number of stages, so it involve various steps. I think we have just done up to here in the last lecture. Now by using this method, which is Hunter-Nash method. So in this method actually it will involve various stages, and out of those the first stage is actually construction 1. They call it actually construction 1, construction 2 and construction 3. Something we have to draw the diagram. Construction means you have to draw something. So in step 1 actually you have to draw, or you have to look for product composition points. What is product, by the way, in this system? So hopefully you know that you are talking about liquid extraction, and this our product is actually something which is part of extract commonly, because extract is the stream which is rich in the solvent, and then later we just separate that solvent and solute from each other, and we get that product. So overall you can say here your product is somehow something which is extract, or maybe in a broader term you can say something leaving from any stage. So leaving is extract and raffinate, so they can be treated as product overall. Then there is construction 2, mean the second step, and it will involve something called operating point and operating lines. Maybe you remember operating lines from distillation and absorption. So here also operating lines are there and operating points. You have to mention those, or you have to draw those on the figure. These triangular diagrams. So on these triangular diagram we have to construct this like operating point and operating line, which will be helpful to us to calculate number of stages. Then the third point, that's construction 3, and it is about tie lines and equilibrium lines. Here usually you know that tie lines are most of the time we have some data, and we used to provide the tie lines in triangular diagrams, but there is some method. If tie lines are missing, or you have few of the tie lines, somehow you will have tie lines. I mean, in any system which you are dealing with, you will have some tie lines, but suppose sometime you are looking for more tie lines. In the last lecture, as I was discussing with you, but sometime your M mixing point or mixture is located in between the tie lines, so you have to draw a tie line. So this is somehow same thing, like you have to either interpolate, or you have to look for some other ways to draw some new tie lines between other tie lines. And then there are some other equilibrium lines. Equilibrium lines mean which we will be using here for construction of later number of stages actually. And then finally in fourth step overall, I can say you go for stepping of stages, and this you can say somehow it's construction 4 actually in this, because still we are constructing some lines on the diagram, and from there you calculate your number of stages. So that's the final stage where you will calculate number of stages. So the system which we are going to discuss here is commonly for type 1 system. I have shown you 2 diagrams, and I even asked you to remember the diagram for type 1 system and type 2 system. So kindly remember, type 1 system are those systems which are partially miscible solvent system, while type 2 system are immiscible solvent system, in which two solvent, one solvent which is the part of feed, and other solvent which is introduced externally, they didn't get mixed. So they are called like immiscible solvent system. So although this method which we are going to discuss, this will involve these steps, all these steps, 4 steps, and at the end you will get number of stages for any liquid extraction system. So though we are going to use such diagram which is representative of actually type 1 systems, but the same method can be adopted for type 2 system. You remember that type 2 ternary diagrams are actually a bit different, but you can adopt all these steps and finally you will reach to the number of stages required for any system which is immiscible solvent system. By the way, in your syllabus this is given, like you have to calculate for counter current immiscible and miscible systems, but as miscible system are most common one, they are used most commonly, and you have to design the system by for those systems. So due to this we are completely going to study this partial miscible system, but if somewhere you have to design, you can adopt this method and can design a system for immiscible solvent systems. So let's start with the first step, that's actually product composition points. So before I start the details of this product composition points, first of all what you should know is you should be provided with some information that what is your feed and what you want to extract the solute from that feed, and which solvent you are going to use. Overall this information should be provided, and then as we said, temperature should be provided, because with the help of temperature you will look for the equilibrium points. Maybe you will perform analysis in the lab, but here you will look for the data in the literature, usually will be given for those system which you will be designing. So that can be used for constructing actually ternary diagram or triangular diagram for your system. As in the previous lectures we have studied, like you can use the equilibrium data and you can construct triangular diagram. So the system which we are going to discuss here, the triangular diagram is already given with the binodal curve. Actually you have to take like data and you have to plot it on simple triangular diagram which is empty one, and finally you will get binodal curve. At least that should be known when you start this construction of product composition point. Clear? So in this, actually first of all we have to locate the feed, solvent and the mixing point on triangular diagram. And if you just recall example 4.7 which we discussed, so where in that example, maybe you remember it was either third or fourth point, in which we discussed that you have to locate your feed point, solvent point and the mixing point or mixture point inside the diagram, and inside that triangular diagram. So before locating these points, that diagram was completed or was available in terms of binodal curve, which I was just talking on the last slide, that you should know or you should have binodal curve or miscibility data at equilibrium, so that you have already that one, and on that diagram now you can plot or you can just locate your feed, solvent and mixing point data. So mixing point actually represents combined flow rate and composition of feed and solvent. You already remember this is same which we have already talked about this in the previous lectures. So here same more or less this construction 1.1 is more or less the similar. There are few modifications here because we are looking for the number of stages and there is not only one stage, but more or less procedure is same. So what you should know here is feed should be given, the solvent should be known, and their specification like their composition should be known. Then definitely you will be able to calculate what is the amount of M as well as its mass fraction or composition of M can be found with the help of all that data. So overall just consider here like this feed contains, or feed is amount is 250 kg and its composition is such that it contains C. Actually here it is named with the two components A and C. So C is the carrier or the solvent, and its amount is 76%, while the solute here is only single solute, and that's only 24%, because you are talking about ternary system. So you will have only two components in the feed, one is solute and other is solvent, or this solvent is also called as carrier because this is carrying solute. And at the same time you are introducing another solvent. So here it's general, mean not specific one, like you are not talking about water or any other system like acetone and blah blah. So it's only like feed, which is generally consisting of two component A and C. C is carrier, remember this, because we have to use this same main terminologies or same nomenclature in next few slides. So and the solvent is 100 kg here, and that's pure. S is 100%. By the way, we have already talked about this in the previous lecture also, that solvent is 100% pure. But suppose if it is not 100%, so what will happen? Just think over it. Actually, as you remember that when something is 100%, so that's located in the apex corner of your triangle, like this is your solvent. Suppose it is located, it is 100%, so this will be located here. But suppose if you have something else present in this, so what will be that stuff? Either it will be like this solute or the carrier will be part of this, because this is ternary system and in which you have not like 100% solvent. Suppose it is 99% and 1% is A, so then you have to look where solvent point is located. Actually it will not be then at the corner, it will be somehow inside the diagram, or maybe on any like any of these edge. So just look for few example, write few things like you have 95% solvent and 5% of these component, then where S will be located for practice actually. And then here you can see its composition and the same stuff which is given overall in the form of mole fraction, mass fraction is given here. Feed is 250 kg and its 24% is your solute, which is represented with A. So XA mole, not mole, mass fraction of A in the feed is equal to 0.24 in the fraction, and of carrier in the feed is 0.76 here, and then there is no solvent in this system in the feed, so it's 0. And then when you look at the solvent side, it is 100 kg its mass, and it didn't contain any A or C, any solute or carrier is not there, only the solvent which is 100%, so it's 1. This is the similar which you already know. Yes, up to here one thing, just look that you know how many variables. First of all, I asked you that you should know what is the temperature of the system, so that you can draw the diagram based on the equilibrium data. So one is temperature, then look, you are given feed and the solute, their flow rates or amounts are given, so and their composition is given. So overall temperature 1, then there is feed, there is the solvent, and their composition, see compositions are given. So overall up to here you have 5 variables. So when you will move forward, maybe somehow we can move a bit from this point, but later we have to stop at any point. We will not be able to solve the system, so you have to look for another variable, and that variable here is provided. As I told you that anything can be provided, so here he has provided us the mass fraction of component A in the raffinate stream leaving from nth plate. We talked about this, either you should be given with the composition of some component leaving from the first plate in the extract, or you should be given of a composition of some component leaving from the nth plate as a raffinate stream. So here you are given with this information that this solute leaving in the raffinate is only 2.5% or it's 0.025 in mass fraction. So this information is also given to us. So up to here we have 6 components, complete 6 variables, so we can proceed with this system and hopefully we can easily solve it. So what we said actually, from where we started, that you have to locate feed, solvent and mixing point. Now in order to locate this feed, solvent and mixing point on the diagram, you should know, as we said, that you should know their at least composition, but as well because we will be looking for the amounts, because they are needed for calculation purpose, so that's also given here. Now the thing which is missing is this M. We don't know about M at this slide, so we have to look for M, and M, you know, M is the mixture of feed and solvent, and that's located inside triangular diagram. So M can be calculated by using total material balance, and its composition actually can be calculated with the help of component material balance. So look at this M, which is mixture, that's sum of feed plus sum of solvent. So you already know, and it's straightforward, so it's about like 350 kilogram. So in any system, suppose just consider for example, if you are confused about this, just consider one stage. So in this stage actually what is entering is feed plus solvent, this is entering, and then they get mixed, so you get M, so 2 in, and there is one thing, something you can consider it as a like output even, or maybe you can consider it as a like accumulation, and you can apply the material balance. So just stoichiometry. Here you will get 350 kg. Now after this we are looking for also the composition of this, because we have to locate point M inside diagram, inside triangular diagram. So in order to locate, you should know the composition. And now M is actually mixture of feed and solvent, so M will contain A was your solute, C, that was the carrier, and it will contain S was coming from the solvent. So we have to find actually the fraction or composition of all these. So somehow they can be found again by applying the, as I said, component material balance. In order to apply component material balance, you can see, suppose if you have to apply the component material balance on C, that was not solute actually, C was our carrier. So here is a mistake, I will correct in the slide, so kindly make it like this is carrier, not solute, this is carrier. So amount of carrier in the mixture, from where by the way this carrier or component C is coming. If you look at the data, this C is only part of the feed, it comes only from the feed, and you know its fraction in the feed as well as total amount of the feed. So mass fraction multiplied by total amount will give you the amount of this C, and this C 190 kg comes inside feed and then becomes part of the mixture. So amount of C in the mixture will be the same one, like 190 kg. And then its mass fraction you have to find. So in order to find mass fraction, definitely you have to just divide the mass of this one component for which you are looking for mass fraction divided by total mass of the system. So you will get it like 0.543, and I think this is again straightforward stoichiometry, so you can use it for calculation of other components. Like for A, here A is solute, now they are just interchange, sorry for this. So A is solute actually, and C is the carrier, so correct it. And it will be like 0.24, because we know that A was 24%, so multiply by total amount, and its amount is available, and this is the only component which was like part of only feed. So just for example, consider, as I was talking to you, that if your solvent also contains some part of A, suppose, so what you will do, you will just add up here. Suppose that was also part of that, and we just consider, for example, it was like 1%, so you will take it like 0.01 multiplied by its total amount, and that's 100. Like here for this total amount was 250, so for that it will be like 0.01 multiplied by 100, so you will also add up that one. So that will be part of this. If that's included, or in some problem maybe you can see such things, so don't worry about that, just include that in your material balance. Here material balance is straightforward, because this component A is only part of only one stream which is entering, like it is only part of this feed side. So next, like its mass fraction, it's find in the similar manner and similar way, 60 over 350, and you will get it. Finally, maybe you can just add, because all mass fraction sum up to the 1. So either you can just add these and then 1 minus these summation of these two fraction will give you the third one, or you can again also calculate that, and that is the here now it is solvent, amount of solvent S. So we have a lot of trouble here, so just don't worry, A, C and S. So amount of S here, when I'm looking for S, so it will be like S, because S was only part of solvent stream, so it will be entering to the system from the solvent, and you know it was 100%, so its fraction is like 1, and its also flow was like 100 kg, so that's 100 kg, so 1 into 100 and you will get 100 kg, and you can also calculate its mass fraction. Now up to here you can see that we know the amount as well as composition of all three: feed, solvent and mixture. All these three are given, or now you know at least, so these can be located on the figure. The similar way which you have located from the single stage systems, in which what you did in the last lectures, so you go to the diagram, you locate feed point as well as the solvent point, and then also locate M point and just connect them with the help of one line. So here you can see we have somehow feed. Now if you go back or remember, feed was consisting of 24% solute and 76% carrier. So you can see this is the carrier, and carrier is 100%. By the way, maybe sometime you can forget that what these numbers are representing, or which side or which component they are representing, because now from here you can see maybe either it is representing like A or the C, these numbers. So just look, as you know that on apex on this corner, any component which is written is 100%, so carrier is here 100%. so now it will keep on decreasing as you keep on moving away from this. So this is decreasing actually 90, then 80, then 70 and so on. So on the opposite side, when you look at on the edge opposite to apex, you remember that saying is 0. so here it's mean these numbers are for this carrier actually. And if you have to look for the A, so either now these numbers on this side are for A or this solvent, so you can look that A is here 100%, so now its amount will decrease. So now you can see here decreasing is taking place. So if it was solvent, so definitely it should be like S here, then it should be 90 and so on, but it is decreasing from A towards this side. So it's mean these numbers are located, are given for these line which are horizontal, and they are representing the composition of A. And similarly then the third one is solvent, here on the bottom these lines are given for this. So now our feed point was 76% feed, so you can see that was 76% of your carrier. So overall you see 100% carrier, then 90%, 80% and 70. so there is something in between, this is 76. And then there was 24% water, and you remember that this not water, sorry, it was like solute. And you remember that this is the binary edge in which the binary components exist, only the solute and the carrier will exist on this. So overall when something is, one is 76%, other will be definitely like making sum to the 100%, so it will be 24% solute. But we can verify it because solute here is, you can see on this side, this is a line of 20 for the solute, and then there is 30, so in between them there is 24. so it's this point of the feed will be located actually. Now this is located as well, solvent is 100%, so that will be this point here, solvent S at the corner apex, and your mass mixture. So in mixture we can just locate somehow that you see here this is the C, which was carrier, that was 0.54%. so let's look, either it is 0.54, and then there is our A which is solute here, either it is how much, like 17%. so let's look at this you can see that this is the line, horizontal line of solute, and that's actually 20%. so below that there will be somehow 17% where this one point will be located, mean inside below this 20 line there will be one line for 17%. now we will look for the carrier, and that was here how much it was, for 54%. so for carrier you can see this line is 50 and then there is 60, so in between them there will be some line passing from here, so exactly 54%. so it will cut the 17% line here. And the third one you have to look for your solute amount, that's 28%. so you have to look for that sorry, solvent is 28%. so overall you can see these are the solvent lines and this is the 30, so just behind 30 there will be 28. so our M exactly is located here. I mean this is how you have to locate your point inside diagram. I already told you, but just because we have to use it again for this designing this system, so you should be aware about this. so I have quickly repeated. so finally what you have to do when you have all these 3 points, just draw a straight line which join these 3 points. Actually we draw a line from S towards F and definitely M will be located on this line automatically. so this was first objective, to locate actually all this stuff, feed, solvent and the M mixing point on your diagram. so we have done this. Now let's move forward. so after this, when you have located all this stuff, mean feed as well as solvent and M point, so just recall from last lecture what you did in the next point. Actually you were looking for the specification of E and R. The purpose here is in this is actually to construct product composition points. It's mean the same, we have to locate for something called extract and raffinate inside the same diagram, although it is available in this diagram, but first we have to look at few things and then we will come back to this diagram with the like location of these points, which is product composition points. That's similar like the main location of or looking for extract and raffinate, which you have done for the main previous examples and all that stuff. So here when these feed and solvent enter to the system, they get mixed, you get the mixture, and that mixture or M then gets separated into the two streams, raffinate and extract. But here, because we are talking about not one stage system, you already talked about one stage system in last lecture, but they are now here you have more than one stages. So if it was one stage system, you remember it was very easy. What you have to do when you have located M, then now you have to draw a tie line which should pass through M and it should be in between the two tie line its surrounding. This was all for one stage system, but this is now not one stage system. We will definitely have more than one stages for this system, which we have to calculate. So in this system there is somehow a bit different, and the difference is here in the diagram. Initially when we were looking at the system, we have seen that there is raffinate leaving from end stage, and the extract is leaving from stage 1. so Rn and E1 we have to look for. These are actually our product in this system. So when you apply overall balance here on this system, because we are looking for now raffinate and extract, we have to locate them on the diagram, as well as we have to look for their composition. Also we will be looking for their amount here in this stage. So in order to get that, you can apply that overall material balance first. Overall material balance, you know that this M was equal to actually F plus S, so F plus F contribute towards M, and then M gets separated into raffinate and extract. So we can write that raffinate leaving from the end stage plus extract leaving from the first stage, and their summation will be equal to 350 kg. Still we don't know, we don't know how much is their amount exactly, like how much raffinate, how much extract, which we will calculate, but this is based on overall material balance of this system. And now after this, if you are looking for composition, you know that for composition, as we have done previously few slides back, for the composition, we looked with the help of component material balance. So here again you can apply the component material balance. You know that now this mixture M is actually separated into raffinate and extract. So all those stuff which will be going to raffinate or extract will be coming from this M. So let's apply the balance. First, for first balance, if I take the component A and A was solute, so whenever you apply component balance, so how you can apply here, mean mass fraction of that component A in the mixture, mean this is my stream, I'm just considering M as a stream, and multiply by its amount, so total amount of that stream, so it gives you the amount of that component in that specific stream, that will be equal to how much it, this we already know actually. Due to this I have mentioned here its value. Actually I didn't write it in two steps, in one step I have written here. So its value you already know. If you don't recall, just go back to the slide. This XAM, actually you have calculated the mass fraction of that same component A in the mixture, and you know total amount of M is 350, so just apply that mass fraction with the M and you will get this 60. That's equal to, actually now this component coming from M stream is separated into two, one is raffinate and other is extract, and mass fraction of component A in raffinate stream leaving from nth plate multiplied by total amount of that main raffinate stream leaving from nth plate, plus mass fraction of this component in the extract stream leaving from the plate 1 multiplied by exact amount or total amount of that extract stream. This is something simple material balance. So overall you can see that this part will be omitted because this is equal to 60. So overall you will have this equation 60 is equal to all this part. This is one equation, like we have one is overall material balance, sorry, and based on component material balance, component balance on A, you have this equation. Similarly we have to apply balance on the C. So when you apply balance on the C, C was the carrier and that was equal to its mass fraction we calculated, and then if we multiply similar way with the total amount, we will get its value, that's 190, and that is equal to its like splitted amount in raffinate and extract. And their total amounts. The similar way I have explained is balance is written on the C, and then there is balance on S. So for S was coming from main solvent side, and you have already calculated its mass fraction. So if you just multiply it with the total amount of M, and you will get its amount, and that's actually the 100, that will be the same which was coming actually in this system from solvent. So it did not change, its amount was 100, so it will remain 100 definitely in the system. And now it will split into two parts, that is raffinate side and extract side, because this is partially miscible system which we are discussing. So in this definitely your solvents are carrier and the solvent are distributed into the both. But if just for example, if this was like immiscible system, so what will happen, which terms will be omitted? You remember that and then if they are immiscible system, so this carrier will be only part of the raffinate and this solvent will only part of extract. So here from this equation then raffinate term will be omitted, and the from above one extract term will be omitted. Just this will be the difference, while solute is definitely distributed among both, so that will be distributed among both, so this equation will stay same. Now just look at these equations first. Can you determine the compositions as well as these amounts by using these equations somehow? No, it's difficult actually. One thing why it's difficult, because here we have more than one stages. If there was only one stage, so I just go back to the diagram in the similar manner we have solved example 4.7. so you will just look at your raffinate point and extract point on the equilibrium curve and or binodal curve, and you will just find their composition. But this is multi-stage system, so it's not that straightforward. I can't locate them so easily as I have done for one stage. So the other way was I wrote these equations so that I can find these compositions. But you see here that it's not possible to solve the equations here. Why? Maybe you will be thinking we can solve these are only 4 equations. Just look at them. If you can see, these are like 3 component balance and 1 overall balance. Here we have 4 equations, and there are many variables. Like how many variable? Just look, you have to look for the value of Rn and E1. These are 2 variable. Then there are these x a in the raffinate, xc in the raffinate, xs in the raffinate, and similar these 3 component in the extract phase. So these are 3 and these are 3, 6, and these 2, 8. You have 8 variables and 4 equations. So that's not possible to solve this system until unless you have some other information. So that's information. One information already was given to you in the start when the problem was discussed or this system was discussed, and at that time I told you that maybe you can proceed with the problem, that but at one stage you will stop, and this is the stage where now we have to stop and we have to look for that information which should be provided. So due to this reason there was something called XARN. Component A, its mass fraction of component A in the raffinate stream leaving from n stage was given to us, that was 0.025. Now just look at this. If I just put this value in the equation, will it eliminate a number of variables? No. Overall you can see, you will just put here and your one problem will be solved, that this one variable will be eliminated. So still you will have 3 to 5 and total 7 variables, and still you have 4 equations. So we have to move forward. Now we have to look for something else, and with the help of this information, now information is sufficient one, we can go to the diagram and somehow we can find some other information which with which we will come back to these equations and we can find all other unknowns. With this XARN, what is this? This is mass fraction of one component A and its main amount living in the raffinate. So now from last lecture you remember that from plate point one side of binodal curve is actually raffinate and the other side is extract. We can locate somehow this point on that diagram, but how you will locate? This is just this is not exactly the raffinate or extract. This is only one of the component available in the raffinate stream, that is only given to you. But somehow, okay, let's look at this, that this XARN must lie on the equilibrium curve. You remember, if you are looking for R raffinate on the binodal curve, so just recall for 1 minute from the last lecture, the example which you have solved. So if you remember that when you located R on the diagram, what you did, you found the composition that R will contain 3 components, and those 3 components are like now here A, C and S. We can read actually when we have located R on the diagram with the help of like simple tie lines in one stage system. So we have located that R, for that R there, that R has actually the 3 components because this is ternary system and you will have like A, C and S. So in the similar manner here, if I just locate for this raffinate one of the component, and that will be lying on equilibrium curve, because this we are talking about the system in which your mixture is separated into the raffinate and extract, and that will be on equilibrium. So it's mean this point of XARN will lie on the equilibrium curve, and if we locate it on the equilibrium curves, and then it will be very easy for us because when we have located one point and equilibrium line is connected with the help of 3 components, or that is constructed with the help of 3 points or 3 components, that is A, C and S. When you know A, it is located on the curve, so you can easily find C and S from the figure. So that's mentioned here, same, that like mass fraction of C and mass fraction of S can be located from the figure. So let's look at this. Just look at this diagram. This just a similar diagram in which we have located point F and S as well as M. So now like suppose you are solving the problem and now you have to locate X or N on this system, X or N, X A or N, and that's 0.025. Now let's look what is A. This is a solute, and that 0.025 mean its amount is 2.5%. so where 2.5% solute will be located, and as I told you that 2.5% we have to locate on the equilibrium line. So for that, because that's part of raffinate and raffinate is located on the equilibrium line, due to this it will be this some quantity will also be located on equilibrium line. So you see at the bottom here it's this is 100%, and you remember that edge opposite to its apex is actually 0. So this line is 0 for the solute, bottom line is 0 for this solute. So as you keep move away from this line, so your value will start increasing, and here this line is like 10%. so somehow our point this 2.5 will be located here. The dot you see here, dot black dot here, you actually 2.5 will be located, and we have to locate this 2.5 on this binodal curve or this dark black curve, equilibrium curve. You also called it miscibility curve. There are various names for this because we get it from equilibrium data. So due to this he has mentioned it like equilibrium curve. Already we were saying it binodal curve or miscibility curve. So your point is located on this same line here. Now it is located. So now you can see that when you have located this point, now it's very easy for you to find the composition of C and S with the help of this point, as we talked in last slide. So here to find so okay, before I jump towards that point, just look that now when you know R XA on this line, so that is 2.5. so you know this point, and that is located on this equilibrium line. So on this equilibrium line, now try to find the other components of this point. Other component mean we have to look for carrier and the solvent. So how much will be the carrier? You see here this point carrier is 100% here, and this line is 90 for the carrier. So this somehow your carrier in this system of raffinate or the raffinate leaving from N stream will have around, I think, more than 90%. so just consider it like somehow 91%. for example, it will be around 91-92%. so it will be like this 91% carrier in the raffinate stream that is leaving from nth plate. One thing was given to you already, and that was what A was given to you, and that was 2.5%. so either you can just add these two and can find the value of the other component which is left, and that's actually here this is overall 93.5. so I think other component which you have here will be like something 6.5. So just to verify that either that solvent is somehow in the similar amount which we are saying. So overall you can see that just that's the same one here for the solvent. This line shows 10%, so it's below 10%, so it will be like 6-7%. The exact values you have to locate when you are solving the problem. Either you can locate it or you can just use these two, and overall sum is 100%, so you can find the value of S from here. So next, now we have located this raffinate leaving from nth stage, and its composition is available. We have to look for its amount. Later we will calculate. At least we have done something that we have located the composition of one of the product. As I told you that that's not actually exactly the product, because our product is, we are concerned about the solute at the end of the day in the liquid extraction systems. But here at least you can say that raffinate and extract, we are just treating them as the product of this system. So you have located or you have found the composition of one of the main product, and that's raffinate. Now we have to look for extract, and how we can find extract now. This is a bit different, as I told you, from the one stage system. So now we have to locate the extract, and in order to locate the extract, to find the composition of extract, where extract point is located, and then when we locate the extract point, definitely we can easily look for the composition. By the way, where extract point will be located, one thing is obvious, that this extract point is located on the binodal curve, because this will be on the equilibrium line. So if we find its location, so how you can find here, to find its location, actually you have to draw a straight line from Rn, which you have just found, Rn, this mean at the corner more or less. So that line should pass through M, and when it will pass through the M, will mean intersect the equilibrium line on the other end. So that point will be your E1, that will be the extract stream composition leaving from stage 1. So let's look at this, how you will draw, because line is already drawn here, but I want to show you how you have to draw. When you are constructing some diagram, you will have just point Rn and M. So you have to draw a line such a way from Rn towards the opposite side of the this equilibrium curve, that it passes through the M. So in order to do this, here what I have done, like you have to just place the ruler on this system, and you have to draw a line. You have to start that line from Rn, and it will pass through the M, and then it will cut the equilibrium line on the other side, that is actually the extract side. So that point will be your extract point. Like here in this diagram, like you can see, this is E1, that's extract point. So maybe some of you will be thinking here you can draw many lines. No guys, you can't draw many lines. Actually you have 2 points. What are those 2 points? One point is here, like Rn, here I am drawing at the top, and the other point is just this M. Now I have to draw a line. I have to start, this is my starting point, one point which is Rn actually, and this is second point, and I have to look for the third point. Now I have to draw the straight line. So straight line which will start from point 1 and will pass through point 2 is only one line. Sorry, this is not that straight, but still you can see, you can just place the ruler and you can draw the line between, starting from one point, that will pass through this second point, and then it will cut on the other side to any other line. So that will be actually your point, like extract point, like we have here. So there are not many lines possible, only one line. Yes, that will be a bit, someone maybe will be locating it on like 40, someone at 39, but this actually this is the point which you have to read on binodal curve. So that's your extract point. Now when you have this point, you have located the extract, actually product on this binodal curve, you can find its composition. What is its composition? Just quickly we can check. First of all, to find, we find A is our solute. In solute, in extract, so how you can find, just look, this is scale for solute on the right side. So close to this there is something 40, line of 40, and your point is just located below 40, and because this is decreasing when we are moving below, so it's like somehow I think 38%. So A is around 38%. Now we have to find next one, and that's actually carrier or solvent, maybe you can say, because this will be extract and that will be solvent rich. So you can see here the solvent is 100. So overall you can see A is 38%. Now next you have to look for solute, and solute is 100% at this corner, and you see its value is decreasing. So now when you reach to here, the line close to our point is actually between 60 and 50. You see this is the 60 line and the other line is for 50 for this solute. So this point is in between, I think it's exactly in between. So let's take it like 55%. It will be like S. Now what is left is your third stuff, that's the carrier. So what is the amount of carrier? You can see that this scale on the left side is for the carrier, and overall you can, if you draw the line, it is less than I think 10% that will pass from here, and overall you can see also from this data it is, I think it should be 7% exactly. So if you just sum these, overall it will be 100%. Yes, it will be 7% main C carrier in this extract stream, because extract is rich in the solvent that contain high amount of solvent as compared to the other solvent which was a part of feed, which is carrier air. So that's the smaller one. And on the other hand, if you look at the raffinate side, so here you can see that your S was only a few percent, that's I think 6-7% more or less, close to this, like, and your carrier is higher in amount, like 91%. So now, as you know definitely all the composition of raffinate and extract up to here, so you can use these and go back to the material balance equation which you already have seen in the last slides. So you can put these values, these mass fraction which are now available, and you will definitely find value of Rn and E1. So kindly do this calculation on your notebook and just compare those values to the values given here in your book. Actually the final purpose was to calculate the flow rate of Rn and E1, mean raffinate stream leaving from nth plate. We have to look for its amount, as well as we have to look for the amount of extract leaving from stage 1. So that's given here, these values. So just compare your values with these, they should be close enough to these values. Maybe and the other method is inverse lever arm rule. We have talked about this in the last lecture, so you can use that same method. So how you will use that method? Actually in order to use that method, you will use some equations. That equations can be found as I have explained to you in last lecture, or you can consult the book here for this specific stuff in the book he has provided. But you will do, yes, you will need some lengths actually, and those lengths can be found with the help of ruler. You can just place ruler on this diagram, and if you find these lengths of like E1 to M and then M to Rn and overall length, so these also can be used to find this stuff of like value of M, E1 and Rn. There is one point that's called Mx, which also lies on the equilibrium curve along the straight line that is connecting F and S. So just look at this main diagram, you can see what is this. Yeah, it is given here Mx. Mx actually shows this, you can see this is located on equilibrium line, but it is located on the point where equilibrium line gets cut with the like Fs line, the line connecting feed with the solvent. So what does this Mx mean? It is located on equilibrium curve, and it shows that what can be the maximum amount of the solvent used in the system when you are maintaining still two phases. Because if you just jump after this point, we are in the one phase region. You know that beyond this curve, and when you jump outside this curve, outside there is one phase region. We already talked about this, and inside there are two phase region. So this shows that the maximum amount of the solvent in the system which can be used and you still maintain two phases of the system. So that's Mx representing. That's correspond to the maximum possible solvent addition if the two liquid phases are to exist. So overall for any system you can locate this Mx on the equilibrium curve, and where it will be located, where your feed and solvent line will be connecting just intersecting your equilibrium line, the point close to the solvent. And by the way, not on the other end. Maybe you will be thinking that definitely here on the other end, other side, raffinate side, this is also intersecting, mean feed solvent line is intersecting equilibrium line. No, we have to look to the point where you are close to the maximum solvent amount, and maximum is 100% at this corner. So up to here I have explained to you only the first step, mean to construct actually the product composition, or to find the product composition. And in multi-stage system, how you have to look for the product composition, and product mean like raffinate composition, raffinate exact composition of all components. Maybe one component can be given, but you have to locate for other component, as well as you have to locate for extract, mean in this system this you are supposed to do. So the next step is actually about operating point or operating line.